Well, Secretary of State Marco Rubio is defending the State Department's decision to suspend all visitor visas for people from Gaza, including children in need of medical care. Speaking on Face the Nation yesterday, Rubio said the way visas are granted would be, quote, reevaluated. He also claimed several congressional offices put forward evidence that some of the organizations facilitating the visas have links to terrorist groups like Hamas. In Israel, thousands of people took part in a nationwide strike yesterday. They're demanding an agreement between Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government and Hamas to end the war and release the remaining hostages. CBS News Middle East reporter Courtney Kealy joins us now for more on this from our Washington bureau. Courtney, good morning. These protests in Israel over the weekend were massive. What more can you tell us about them? And are they likely to pressure Netanyahu into reaching a ceasefire?
Good morning, Michael. These protests seem to be in the tens or hundreds of thousands from the aerial views. Now, Sunday is a work week for Israel, and this was a national strike, as well as culminating into a rally to bring the hostages home. The point of this was to protest against Prime Minister Netanyahu's military plan to go further into Gaza and military moves into Gaza City and possibly have a military occupation of all of Gaza. They want the hostages home. This was in solidarity with all of the hostages' families. And former colleague and a source of mine did tell me that they think it worked because the amount of criticism coming from Prime Minister Netanyahu and his ultra-right coalition was intense after this show of support. And they stopped the major highway between Tel Aviv and Jerusalem and other major highways. The protest was quite something yesterday, Michael.
Now, Courtney, I want to ask about this. This morning, Amnesty International is accusing Israel of carrying out a, quote, deliberate campaign of starvation in Gaza. Now, Israel has rejected claims of widespread starvation in the enclave. Let's talk about the reality of the situation on the ground.
Well, Amnesty's report really follows along with so many other reports, including Israeli human rights groups that have been saying that the starvation and lack of medical care is a different version of a genocide. Now, they did say the number of the testimonies of displaced and starving civilians underscores a deliberate outcome of plans and policies that Israel has designed and implemented. We do have word from Jose Andres from the World Central Kitchen, who was inside Gaza and spoke to Margaret Brennan on Face the Nation just yesterday.
In the places we know we are feeding, we are doing around 200,000 meals a day, but this is only 10% of the need. That's what we are trying to increase. I can say that where we are, obviously, people are being fed at the bare minimum. It's not everything they should be receiving, but at the very least, they're receiving a piece of bread and a piece of food. But we need much more aid. We need to make sure that the aid is never interrupted again.
Well, the aid is interrupted, and over 100 aid groups have been pleading for Prime Minister Netanyahu to not stop any more of their certification to go in and to allow them to go in. We're looking at 2 million people. I am talking to sources who are living in tents, and if they do get aid, which is minimal, they also have to face black market prices because of the breakdown of the rule of law, Michael.
All right. Courtney Kealy, thank you.